Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Because it's time to write now.
Right 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 now.
Because it's time to write now.
Right 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 now.
Because it's time to write now.
Right 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 now.
Because it's time to write now.
Right 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 now.
Because it's time to write now.
How's that? You guys can probably hear me now. I figured this one out last time. Let's see. I think that should be good. Let me make sure. Yeah, I can hear myself. Can you guys hear me now? Perfect. So welcome back. We are getting in a late night writing session. Just got back from the travels and I knew how to get in a little bit of writing. Now, I don't have all too much this evening, so we're going to be getting in one writing sprint together, but I would love you guys to come join me. Courtney, Tiara, it's great to see both of you here. Hopefully today has not been too crazy for either of you or for anyone just hopping into the stream or watching this on the replay. Courtney, thank you. It was fun. It was fun. Always nice to get out and see places. Always nice to get out and just see things. Hopefully in the years to come, a lot more traveling will be happening, and a lot of the traveling will revolve around writing clubs, conferences, conventions, and all that jazz. So it was super cool. Oh no, Tiara, work was exhausting, but not a bad day. Yeah, and I mean, at least it wasn't a bad day. I think it's always more challenging when you're deal with difficult people and it's a bad day. At least it was you hustled through it one step at a time, right? So yeah, but I'm feeling pretty good. I knew that I was getting in late, but I knew I could not break the sprint. I could not break the sprint stream, especially now I'm at almost at the 500th consecutive stream. I was like, I got to make it to at least 500, and then once we get there, we'll see what's next. Oh man, so I was super excited about that. Yeah, I was like, I figured I didn't even have time to post this to YouTube or any of the socials for advertising. So I figured this would just be totally a low-key, last-minute thing. Cordy, you've spent the entire day freaking out about finishing the edit, which means you're closer to publishing, and that's scary. Hey, that's a cool thing. That's a great thing. You should be so proud, Courtney, of how far you've come, how much you've accomplished so far, and you're getting closer and closer to that milestone, that goal that all writers are trying to achieve, right? Of just getting at least that first book published, that first the solo book published, the solo book. Oh, I know. I saw that in the Discord. I saw you guys were talking about that. I'm like, oh god. I was in such a rush on Monday, and of course, I knew I forgot something. I knew it. So I can actually probably be fair and give space to it. I'll probably just talk about it next week. Realistically, Courtney, I'll probably just push to next Monday's live stream because the pledge is actually, I think it'll be super cool. And I actually thought of something kind of cool I'm going to do with them because I saw a lot. So I'm going to keep it running and see if anybody else has any cool pledges this week. So, but thanks for the reminder. Appreciate you. Tiara, I was so excited to see a notification. I was wondering if you'd be able to stream today. You're like, oh no, you're like, Kaufman missed a stream. Something happened to him. The world. Something happened to Kaufman. You know what's funny is out of 500 streams, out of almost 500 streams, I want to say there's been a handful of them where they were either TBD or they got pushed back to really, really late in my first week of streaming because I was out traveling the first week that I started streaming. I want to say it was like the second or third day that I was out all day and I just made this commitment to stream every day. And I like rushed back home from what we were doing and I got onto my like streaming software at like 11 or 11:30 p.m. to stream. And that was, of course, I was on Pacific time at the time. So that was like 11:30 p.m. I'm like, I can't, I've just set the goal. I remember that. But usually I've been pretty good. I actually feel really good that that we have a really good system where I've been able to set the times and stick to the days and stick to the times that I aim for. Now, whether or not I start at the time that I mean to is a different thing, but at least starting within a 5 to 10 minute gap is always good. But I feel pretty good that I've stuck to every single day that I've set my sights on, that we haven't missed a day. You know what? You can't break the block, right? It's all about successful habit forming, not breaking the block. Courtney, that'd be super awesome. I'd really appreciate that. That'd be really, really cool, Courtney. Yes, thank you. That'd be really cool. I think we saw about 5 or 6 on there, I think. Yeah, I think we saw about 5 or 6 on there, I believe. So that's that's really cool. And like I thought it because originally I've had a loose mission statement for a while, but I was like, why don't we just have one that's represented by the writers or a writer in the community? So I was like, heck yeah, let's do that. That sounds way better. Anyways, you guys, I feel like there's definitely some better pledges in there than ones that I would have come up with. So I'm actually really happy they came out like that. Okay, but like I said, I am on time. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna hop straight into the writing sprint. As you guys can see, I got 25 minutes on the clock, even though I am actually feeling super creative. So we're going to hop right into it. You guys know me. I'm going to throw up the music. We're going to try to get some writing in, some brainstorming, writing, editing, revising, the whole shebang. So I'm actually at a good part on my novel, and let's see what we do. We got our one writing sprint this evening, and let's push. So I am all ready, whether you are brainstorming, writing, or editing. Come join us because it's time. To write now. All right, my friends. Nice, nice, nice. All right, so I'm glad I was able to get a little bit of writing in this evening. Oh, man. Sounds like you guys are having some great, great writing vibes over here. You're having some types of vibes going on. Courtney, I love that. I just like catching up on your guys' conversation. Hey, what's up, Nell? I saw you hop in as well. Well, you know what? As we all know, really having the right type of music playlist is really what it's about, right? And especially when we're working on different styles of storytelling, sometimes we need a different playlist. As you guys know with me, the type of music I've done for this generally been on like the fantasy vibe. It's kind of been like the very a range of like instrumental, orchestral. Sometimes it goes whimsical, sometimes it goes a little bit more rock. Sometimes it's heavier, but it's generally still that like fantasy-esque vibe playlist, which I've generally stuck to. Yeah, and I mean, I think the only reason I don't really go music with lyrics is probably more for YouTubing stuff, so I don't get the stream taken down in the future. I feel like it's if I setting that precedent, I want to deal with that problem later on. Having the vibes of the late stream. Maddie, I saw that you mentioned whites here. I know it's because it's so different for our non-US friends, for friends who are farther out in the time zone when we're up so much later. I'm seeing some other faces in here. Love seeing all you guys in here. WTC, everything going good tonight, I hope. Yes, just having a little bit of a late night writing sesh. It's great seeing you, my friend. Hopefully the book launch treated you well. Hopefully the book turned out pretty great. Very, very cool. Maddie, oh my god, if you guys haven't tried Metal, the BPM makes keystrokes go so fast. Then you have to get the keystrokes as you're playing with like the heavy metal, like just right. Oh man, Lillian, my brain works better late like this. And for the next several hours, I'd love to host a writing stream like this for Night Owls. I know it's definitely a different vibe. So it's definitely a way different vibe with later night streams for sure. Like it's definitely different. But what's interesting is I remember early on in I think the first 6 months, I remember testing out some later streams. I tested out earlier streams and I remember testing out later streams. And for some reason, the streams that just seemed to work the best were the ones that were that like mid afternoon, that middle, like the mid to late afternoon range. Just always seem to work the best when people are generally either the most engaged or the most just likely to be available. Because like I've learned from live streaming after almost 500 of these things, I try to put the streams at times when it can potentially be the most easily accessible for people, for writers who are either in front of their computer and want to write or wanting to throw this on in the background as we talk about writing stuff. So, and I mean, I don't know, maybe it's time to, maybe as I hit 500, maybe it's time to do a recheck on some of these things that I haven't touched in a little while. Maybe it would be. I mean, I don't know. You guys tell me actually, would you guys like doing a late night writing session every week? Is that something everyone would be down for? I know our latest writing sprint stream tends to be our Wednesday writers group, and I wouldn't really say that's late. I would say that's just like later, but I wouldn't really say that's a late one. But yeah, I mean, I'll throw it out there. If people want a late night writing sprint stream, and writers actually like show up to it and still all want to watch and do writing sprints, I'm totally down to try that out at some point. And Marcel, it's good to see you in here as well, my friend. You're like, hey guys, finished late tonight. Pleasantly surprised I could still tune in with you. I know. This is probably the latest that I've streamed in like it's probably the latest I've streamed this year, actually. Didn't do a ton of writing, mostly copy and pasted what I wrote before into my document. How far into your second draft are you now? Marcella, thanks for asking. I am probably about 45% of the way into the second draft, maybe 46-ish, 45, 46%. I'm hoping that the back end of the book goes faster because a lot of the characters, a lot more of the themes, the structure, and the dynamic is just smoother. I can tell now where I'm at in the book. The pacing is already there, and a lot of the character beats are there. And it's really just tweaking. Like right now, I'm tweaking all the animals. We're at the Coliseum of the Last, so all the animals have to line up with what I plotted out. But Gore is a much stronger character now. My main characters are feeling stronger. So I'm really happy with it. We'll see. I mean, it took me a year to do the first draft, and it sounds like it's gonna take me a year to do the second draft at this point. So, but the third draft I already know without a doubt is gonna go really quick for me. I'm probably gonna be able to do the third draft in like a few weeks because the third draft is gonna be more like for me, the third draft is gonna be a little bit more of like light like a speed proofread in a sense. It's gonna be like a speed like line edit because I'm already pretty good with the story beats. I have like a list of things that I need to improve. Um and they're not none of them are difficult things. They're all like small things that I know I just need to go back in and change like a couple sentences here and there. So and then I need to cut down on wordiness because the book's almost at 160,000 words and it probably has to be at 130. Probably 120. So, and I know I'm a little wordy. There's some parts that I've read and I'm like, yeah, I could cut down on wordiness. I tend to over describe. So I see that popping up. But I'm pretty happy. Pretty happy with how it's coming along so far. WTC, you're saying like, yeah, it did. It would have done better if you had done more marketing. Yeah, and I totally get that. And I mean, I think that's always the name of the game, right? If we can always do more if we can do more marketing, right? Yeah, and I mean that's the same thing with like content creation and all the things, right? It's the more time that we're able to put into spreading awareness, spreading word of mouth, the more likely, the more we can get it into the hands of readers who would potentially love the book, right? But I think the great thing is that even though you might not have been as crazy a book launch as you might have hoped, like now that the book's out there, like you got the 2 books, and that's such a big start. That is such a big start. So you're able to do a marketing push at any time, and you just got to find fresh ways to push the book, so that way readers are like, oh yeah, this is a new thing, this is a new book. I know, TR. TR. You're like me. Like I know, TR, that you're a fellow night owl over here. I would be more corny. Like I would be more able to write more in the stream if it's late than during the day, but I don't want to make it hard for the daytime crew. Yeah, and I mean, I think like I said, I think I'd be down to trying out like maybe like and maybe that with a late night stream, maybe what we try. I mean, seems like there's a good amount of you guys in here. Um Yeah, I mean, it seems like there's a good amount of you guys in here. So I think what I would try if I were to test out a late night stream again, I'd probably try it out for a couple weeks, and I try it out like one day. Would try it one day each week and kind of see how it felt. We could just make like a super late night writing sesh. Um, yeah, I'd have to figure out how to make that work with my schedule too. I think I could. I mean, I love working at night, so you guys could join me for some late night writing stuff. Nice, WTC. You're currently doing a bunch of rewrites on book 3 since you wrote it last year, and changes have been made over the course of the first 2 books that make some parts of book 3 irrelevant. Yeah, and I mean, at least you've done so much work with the first 2 books, though, and it sounds like you had a good deal of 3 um, done. So now you're just kind of adjusting to all the changes you've made. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. It sounds like you made pretty good progress. Yeah, man, I agree. And I mean, that's another reason that Courtney's going to start doing the reading sprint sessions Friday nights. And Chat Soul is going to be doing the later night writing sessions on Saturdays. Like Fridays and Saturday nights, we now have those later sessions for Discord. So those are things that Courtney and Soul wanted to do. And whether like people just want to go hang out and do like a co-working session, or whether they want to go get some reading in with Courtney on Friday, or whether they just want to write or just vibe with the other writers in the community. Those are Friday and Saturday things that we got later on. I was like, I say late night. I think right now we'll see how like timing wise how they feel. But yeah, so like Fridays and Saturdays now we got a Discord event Fridays and Saturdays every week. So I love that. Like, have you made room for my books on your shelf behind? Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'll tell everyone this, right? If you send me your books, I'll put the books up here. Like, that'll be super cool. Courtney said this as well, and Courtney like absolutely took the words out of my mouth of like having a Right Now shelf of just like all the Right Now of books from writers in the community would be so cool. I would love to fill up this entire shelf. I was like, oh, I don't know. The camera is somewhere right here. All right. I would love to fill up this entire shelf with books from writers in the community. That'd be super cool. I was like, I think my screen's kind of turned, but yeah. It's like usually when I'm here, right? Obviously, I have the Freaky Friday anthology, right? I'm like, woo, we got the Freaky Friday anthology. But it would be cool to have like stacks of books with other writers. That'd be bomb.com. I would love that. One of these days, my friends, we'll have many more of our books out. We'll have more anthologies, right? Once we get through the Fated Fantasy anthology after the competition, the possibilities are endless. Let's see, Marcella. I haven't had much time for writing with school wrapping up, but I've wrote a couple scenes here and there. Did a ton of brainstorming with ChatGPT. I'm completing a Dan Harmon. Yeah, Dan Harmon's story circle is really interesting. I've never tried it myself, but I've heard some really good things from writers who've tried it. Let's see, Courtney. You said question from your website for the copy editing services. It says 0.025 cents. Is that less than 25 cents a word? Yeah, so it's basically 0.02 cents per word is the way that I rate it. And that's for copy editing generally. Yeah, so it's like, let's say I took like a 60,000 word novel and 0.025. Okay, so if I took a 0.025 amount per, actually, yeah, I was like, I want to make sure that I calculate that right. 0.025 times 60,000. I'm like 60,000 words. Yep. So if I took a 0.025 copy edit to a 60,000 word novel, that'd be about $1,500. Now, $1,500, that's probably a little closer to what standards would be for an average a copy edit for like a professional copy edit. Now, because I do try to be affordable, usually with bigger edits, I tend to give bigger discounts to writers in the community, especially if we've already done work, right? So Courtney, because like if you are looking for a copy edit, because like I know we've done work before, I tend to try to give bigger discounts to be affordable. So like if anybody is ever looking for editing services, and if you're a channel member, or what I do discounts for referrals. I do discounts for channel members. I do discounts for new writers. I think what's important is I try to set the standard based on what the industry says, so writers are aware like that's how much like professional, like real professional writing services will charge for that. But then I feel like, okay, well, for me to be more affordable, I can discount things because I know like I know it's expensive, right? Like to do all the things in the book, and then the cover design also, and then figuring out, okay, well, how do I market the book and doing all that. So that's a great question, Courtney. Yeah, and I think the last thing I would say is like anybody who is looking for editing services, if they want like a custom quote from me, because it'll probably come out to be cheaper than just that word or just the per word rate with the way that I discount. I usually just recommend people reach out to me. So anybody who's really needing editing services, whether it's now or in the future, I always recommend people reach out at least a month beforehand because my schedule is just so busy. So that way I can schedule in editing work for your book in a way that works for my schedule and also works for your schedule as well. So I think planning is such a huge proponent of it. Absolutely. And then if I've already worked on a story, I have greater familiarity with it. So then I'm able to get through the story faster. And I think that's also another factor as well. When I think about like an editing for a manuscript, like the reason editing is expensive, guys, and like I I don't know how familiar people are with the editing process, but to go through like a 60,000 word novel is easily like a 40 to 60 hour project for a specific type of editing, right? If I was just doing like a reading, like an alpha read, that's probably closer. That might be like 20 hours, maybe, because you have to think about editing when you're going through so many words and paragraphs. You have to go like line by line, like, okay, does this make sense? Right? You got to do, if you're doing like line editing takes the most. Now, I generally charge similar rates for line editing and developmental editing because my speed, I'm able to do about the same for both of them. But some writing services will charge more for developmental editing because you have to basically go and fix the story. So these are some great questions. Let's see, what else do I got? Marcella to try and map out her arc. So far, it looks like I've got the main beats for her character. Sounds like you're getting some awesome progress on your book, on your story, by the way, Marcella. I'm really, really happy for you. Maddie, does it have to be published? I mean, it doesn't have to be published, but it probably, actually, you know what? No, actually, I should say that. It's got to be published. It's got to be published, my friends. If you want your book on the shelf, it's got to be published. I think that's the one price standard I should make. Otherwise, I'll start getting all this like half finished work. I'm like, all right, Maddie, good question. Published, yes. Appreciate that, Courtney. Totally appreciate that. And Courtney, what I would say is just reach out to me and remind me when you get closer. And I can give you a custom price. It's probably a little bit more affordable for you, especially because I'm already familiar with your book, so I know I can how to get through it faster. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, Lillian. So yeah, maybe a late night writing session during the week could definitely be a thing. We'll circle back on that. I'm gonna think about what a late night writing session stream would look like and timing and things like that. Sounds like it might be something the community wants at this stage, which is actually kind of cool. Maddie, do you rewrite the whole thing? I think that's what I need. You cracked me up. I mean, editing generally isn't for rewriting something. I mean, generally, if somebody like feels that they need their story needs work, usually what I recommend is probably more like coaching or maybe like a 2 to 3 hour session, right? If somebody's like, yo, I have an awesome story, but I know it has problems, but I don't know what the problems are. Usually I'll call that a book development session, or if it's a script, like a story development session. But essentially it's just talking through the outline, the problems, the characters, the plot, and all of the things over the course of 2 to 3 hours. I've been told that writers usually get a lot of value out of that if they feel like they have a completed draft, but they don't know what's the problem with it. But they're like, hey, I don't want to go pay for like a full round of editing services if I'm going to change the whole thing. Other factors, sometimes alpha reads are really good strategies as well. If you're like, yo, I got this full draft, I don't know what the problems are, but I just need somebody to read through it who has a little bit more of a certain writing expertise, right? So alpha reads are generally done by somebody who's an industry professional or working editor or someone to that extent, whereas a beta read is generally done by a reader who is in or who would be in like your target readership or in your preferred genre for whatever book you're writing. Courtney, you give so much with an alpha read that you're cutting yourself short for all you provide after an alpha read. Courtney, I really appreciate that. I really do. You know what? I just like whenever I work on something, I think it's because I have a really high work ethic. So it's like I feel like I always go all out because I genuinely care about that anybody that I've worked on, that their book does as well as possible, because it's a win-win, right? It's a win-win-win, right? Because if the book does well, right, it's like a ReadNow community thing. I think that's something we can all be proud of. And then if it does well for the writer, then the writer's really happy. Then if it does well for me as an editor, then it brings in more editing clients. So I always think that's a win-win-win. So I really try to go all out. But I also have to learn how to make sure that I'm valuing my time correctly for projects. While being affordable. That's always the finding the right balance there is always key. Aw, thanks so much for that, Tiara. I really, really appreciate that. Really, really appreciate that. Yeah, I was like, actually, yeah, and I mean, usually I feel like I do get like a good amount of writers who are generally working on shorts. It's kind of like a mix. I feel like I don't get very many in the novella category. I feel like I either get work for like short stories or novels. It seems to be those two ranges. Definitely got my share of worked on scripts and graphic novels before as well, from a pure storytelling standpoint. So, I don't know. I'm always so fascinated. I think because I just love storytelling in general. So I'm always able to get into any writer's story. All right. Oh, yeah. WTC. You're like, yeah, Kaufman edited my book too and did a great job, even though he hated reading it. Oh, my goodness. WT's book was awesome. Your book was so awesome. I loved your book. And it's actually not even a style book that I normally read. But it was a great book. It was absolutely a great book. And I think what I really, really appreciated about your book, WTC, was that you have a very your style, and your style of writing works very well for you. Writers have to go on a journey to figure out what their style is. Some writers get it in their first book. Some writers, it takes 10 books. Some writers get it over time. Some writers, it takes a long time. Sometimes when writers have a background in writing, right, that's how they get their style. Other writers, it comes naturally. And I think that's what changes from writer to writer. So I think whenever I'm able to read someone's work, I can just tell that they have a unique style of storytelling. I think that's always something to be proud of. So, aw, thanks, Maddie. I really appreciate you. All right, my friends. As much I absolutely love this conversation. You guys are awesome, but I got to call it. Yeah, I have to move on. As much as I love talking about this, you guys rock. So on that note, Maddie, like, even the group critiques are immensely thorough. I was actually really impressed with how nice it is to get that feedback real time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean the group critiques are actually really, really good. Whether people are doing like the channel membership critiques, or so what we got story and critique stream, and then we got channel membership. I need to just create like I need to probably create like a writing menu of the specific like values that we offer. The website's done. I just got to rebrand the URL now to ReadNow, so that'll be within the next week or two. But the facing side of the ReadNow website is all good to go. So I'm actually really happy about that. So yeah, but I mean, everybody knows, right? My personal style of reading tends to be fantasy, but when what I love about storytelling is characters and stories that are really moving, and I'm really good, as you guys have seen on all the critique streams, about being able to understand what a writer's trying to achieve and what their intent is, and I'm able to fall in love with a story through understanding the writer's journey, and that's always something that I've been able to do well, and that's worked for me. So that's why I'm able to bounce around in different genres and still get the same value out of it personally, while understanding the value that the writer's going with. Yeah. And yeah, man, it's totally understandable. Totally understandable. I mean, I think with our channel, I think our YouTube channel membership, I want to say the critique group's still not for a few weeks. So you might actually have time on that too, if you're to try to get in on this month's critique group. If you're trying to get in on May's critique group, I want to say, what, it's Sunday the 25th? Is that? I'm pretty sure. I was like, I don't write these things down enough. Okay. All right, my friends. Well, I got to peace out. So that is what I got for you. Thank you all for joining me today. I appreciate you so, so much. We'll be back tomorrow with the Right Now Writers Group. So we'll be back tomorrow with the Right Now Writers Group. Yeah, Maddie, if you want to know more about the critique group, you just click on the join button down below the this YouTube live stream, and it tells you about the membership, the YouTube membership, if you want to learn more. I've also linked the description down in the YouTube description as well. But yeah, so like you totally got time. It's basically just a great way to support the channel, or basically another way to be able to get more out of the YouTube channel membership experience. The YouTube channel member critique group is actually super helpful too. Everyone who goes to it says it's really helped them out a lot. But yeah, the next critique group is on Sunday, May 25th. So we still got a couple weeks. And it's perfect for anyone who submitted in Faded Fantasy. By the way, those of you guys who hopped in, WTC, and I know Marcel, I saw you in there. I hope you guys submit to Faded Fantasy. I'm hoping everyone's doing Faded Fantasy. We got less than a week for the submissions. Submissions are due on Sunday. So hoping to see more of that. Yeah, but I'll be back tomorrow. I will be back tomorrow for the Right Now Writers Group, 4 p.m. Pacific, 4, 5, 6, 7 p.m. Eastern. I'll be here. And hopefully we'll see you here. But unfortunately, that brings us to the end of the stream. Don't forget, words are wind, but stories are forever. I'm Kaufman, and I'll catch you on the morrow. Stay creative, writers.
Right now.
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 Because it's time to write now.
Right now.
Right